Robert De Niro, Denzel Washington, Leonardo DiCaprio, Daniel Day-Lewis, Tom Hanks. These are all horrible, horrible actors in front of a dog. If some of the best and most legendary actors in Hollywood history can't act in front of a dog, neither can you. There's no acting with an animal that reads our body language and biorhythms effortlessly. There's no acting in front of an animal that doesn't need to hear the words coming out of your mouth to know exactly what's going on with you, to know how you're feeling. Right? That's just not the way they work. They don't need to rely on a verbal language because they don't have one. They just rely on what they're seeing in front of them. Your girlfriend comes home from work. She's been stuck in traffic all day. Her boss yelled at her. And it takes you 37 questions over the course of an hour and 40 minutes to find out what's wrong. Meanwhile, your girlfriend's little dog, who was lying on their bed peacefully when she came home, took a 3/4 second glance at her and instantly knew that she was really agitated and her left knee is killing her today. You didn't get any of that. Your energy matters. Your energy directly affects your dog and your dog's energy. And if you can't control yourself on an emotional level, it's going to have a pretty serious effect on your dog and their training. So stop and think. How does your energy affect your dog? Which dog? What kind of energy? Are you different with one dog than you are with another? Do you treat them different? Do you feel differently about them? Because these things really, really matter. I technically do not interact the same way with any of my dogs. So, my energy changes depending on which one I'm working with. However, working with dogs has taught me to be insanely self-aware and to really, really pay attention and to be introspective and go back and reanalyze and think about what I'm doing and feeling and how I'm projecting and what I'm projecting. Because when that girl comes home from work and she's pissed off, and then she grabs a leash and takes her dog outside to work on, the come command that the trainer just taught her last, Thursday morning. How do you think that affects that little dog who's watching the person giving them commands like, oh, they're really unstable and angry right now? Do you think that dog's going to perform as well as they would if they were all happy-go-lucky? Of course not. If I am even remotely agitated, I cannot train Zero very efficiently. I can train him, but his drive goes way down. He's flat in obedience. He's not very flashy. He's not enthusiastic. He's not that engaged. Even Karma, the unfazed pig bear that isn't bothered by anything, if I came home in a pissed off mood, it's going to have a very serious effect on her if I then go try to work with her. It's not. You can't pretend. You can't come home angry or depressed or whatever and put on your fake as hell smile and go work your dog. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. If you can't train them in an appropriate state of mind with the appropriate energy, if you can't do that, do not train your dog right now. Just go back to it later. It's not worth it. It's not worth messing them up and making them apprehensive of you because you just had to train them right now. Some people look to their dogs to make them feel better. Well, I do too, but I do it very differently than most people. I don't do it by cuddling on the couch for 6 hours watching Netflix. However, some people will come home after a rough day and go work their dog. If you're having a bad day, just go throw the ball. Don't try to teach them something new that requires a calm, stable leader to. Say you go to work, you walk in, and your boss is punching holes in the wall and throwing the office printer across the room at the secretary, and they're screaming and cursing, and when they come at you like the Incredible Hulk, yelling and screaming and gurgling, and they go tell you what to do. Go send those emails, go stock those shelves. How hard are you going to work? And what state of mind will you be in while you are working? How is that going to affect your performance? Because I can tell you, most people will be riddled with anxiety and looking over their shoulder and worried sick that the guy's going to come in there and punch them in the face and yell and scream at them in front of everybody else. So, don't you think that's going to affect your performance at work? If the whole time you're apprehensive of your boss, if the whole time you think that at any second they might lash out at you, that's what you're doing to your dog when you train them in a bad mood. You have to be conscious of your own energy. Now, I'm really good at amping myself up in order to work with the dog more appropriately. So if I had to train Manic in the morning and I gotta feed him his meal and I'm not feeling that great, I can get all hyper and crazy and overly excited and enthusiastic and dramatic, and I can do that with him, but that's because there isn't something so significant I can't work past it. Right? I also do this every day. But when the metaphorical dog shit hits the fan, I don't do that. It's not worth damaging my relationship with my dog. It's not worth my dog viewing me as unstable and agitated and frustrated, and it's not worth it. I'm currently going through some pretty horrible stuff, so I haven't really been working with Zero nearly as much. I still exercise him, I still play Frisbee, I still play fetch, but that's not the same as working with him. I'm not going to let what's going on in my life affect my really good relationship with my dog. I'm not going to let what's going on do damage. It's not worth it. It's not worth damaging the relationships that I've worked so hard to build. So you just let the storm pass, and then you go back and you pick up the pieces when the winds have died down, and that's what I'm doing. I can do that with Manic a lot easier than I can do it with Zero, because I'm just working on engagement and because he's a super young puppy. And I'm really good at lighting up for puppies, getting like overly enthusiastic and cheerful and whatever. It's actually relatively easy for me to work with Manic still. But Zero is hyper handler sensitive. He's probably the most handler sensitive dog I've ever seen. So I can't work with him like that. I can't work with him when I don't feel completely stable and in control of my emotions and what's going on in my head. It's not worth it. The purpose behind me explaining this and being so open and honest and talking about, how I deal with this stuff is so hopefully you can learn a little bit from that. Hopefully you can take a step back today and think, how am I affecting my dog? How's my mood? How is my energy? How are my emotions affecting my dog? Because if they're affecting your dog, they're affecting your training and they're affecting your relationship. And I can't imagine that you have anything so dire and important that you have to do it right now. There's nothing going on that is forcing you to train your dog in an unstable state of mind. Nothing. It isn't worth it. So stop, take a deep breath, and go back to it later when you can do it properly.